All right, folks, we are only 8 weeks and 1 day from the kickoff of the NFL season, and I cannot wait. It is coming fast. In 8 weeks from tomorrow, we have the Ravens at the Chiefs. And this week, we are going to preview the AFC West. I think one of the most lopsided divisions in the NFL. And if you look at the odds to win the division, the Chiefs have the highest odds to win the division of any team in the NFL. They're at minus 200 right now, depending where you look. Some people have the 49ers at minus 190, minus 200. But minus 200 to win your division is an enormous number. And so the odds makers see it the same way I do. I think the Chiefs are going to win this division handily. We'll get to that in a second. But I don't look for this to be a close division. If you look at what the schedule makers did, they gave 3 of the Chiefs' hardest games right early in the season because I think they fear that the Chiefs are going to get a big lead in this division early on, and it could be a wrap pretty early in the season. So let's look at the rest of the odds. So we got the Chiefs at minus 200 to win the AFC West. They got the Chargers coming in second at plus 300, the Raiders coming in third at plus 1,000, and then the Broncos coming in last at plus 1,200. So let's take a look at how I have it. So coming in fourth, I have the Raiders. I actually have this flopped with how Vegas has it. I have the Raiders coming in last. There's nothing I particularly love about this team. They did pick up Minshew in the offseason, who I like more than most, and I did love their first-round pick with Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia. I thought he was one of the best players in the draft. I think he could be the best tight end in the NFL here in the next 2 to 3 years. So I do love that, but I don't like their head coach. Devontae Adams is getting a little bit older, and his production has dropped off a little bit, and they're not particularly talented really at anywhere on the field. And why do I have them flopped opposite of what the odds makers have them? Is because I think the Broncos, although they're equally untalented, I think they have a much better coach in Sean Payton. So I have the Raiders coming in fourth in this division. I think they are going to suck again, and they're not going to have many wins. I think they could be in position for the first or second overall pick in the NFL draft coming up this next year, where I think they'll eventually take their franchise quarterback. Coming in third, I've got the Broncos. Again, not a lot I like about this team, not a lot of talent, not a lot of weapons, not overly great at any single position group, but I do like Sean Payton, and I think Sean Payton is a very good coach, and I think he himself is worth a couple wins. So that's why I have the Broncos slightly ahead of the Raiders. They did draft Bo Nix. We'll see how he plays out. I was a little bit lower on Bo Nix than some. A lot of people say he was the steal of the draft, of the 4 first quarterbacks taken, but we'll see how that plays out. Regardless, he is a rookie, and it's going to be a big learning curve in a very tough division. So I have the Broncos coming in third in this division. Coming in second, I have the Chargers, and I think Justin Herbert is incredible, but they are really lacking in a lot of different areas. They had some severe salary cap issues, and if you look at their wide receivers, there's only one name that I even recognize on there. They got rid of their 2 best wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, although Mike Williams had some injury issues over the past couple years, but they really just don't have a lot of weapons to work with right now. Quentin Johnson is great at getting open. He's not so great at catching the ball. So we'll see if he can improve that. So he'll probably be their go-to receiver. But again, you got Justin Herbert, who I think is very good, and I think Harbaugh is an excellent coach. He doesn't have a lot of talent working with right now, but he's going to build on a line and move outwards. He's going to be a physical team. He's going to want to run the ball, and that's what I expect them to do a lot of this year. I look for this team to be around 500, a big improvement over the previous couple years, but I still look for them to finish second and around that 500 mark. I don't look for the Chargers to make the playoffs this season. And then in first, I think this is the most obvious division outside the NFC West. I have the Chiefs winning this division handily. I think they could have this wrapped up pretty early in the season, for week 14, week 15, week 16. It'll be a matter of if they can get that number 1 seed and get home field advantage throughout the year, something they did not have a year ago. So we'll see how much of importance they put on that. But when you look at the Chiefs, they got the best player in the world in Patrick Mahomes. They got one of the best defensive players in the NFL. They've in Chris Jones, their wide receiver position. They really did a lot to improve that with getting Hollywood Brown and then taking a wide receiver with their first overall pick. But on the opposite side, they were very strong at cornerback, and they lost one of the best cornerbacks in the entire NFL in L'Jarius Sneed. So I think they'll still win this division handily. I think they'll be in contention for the 1 seed. Outside of those first couple games against the Ravens and Bengals, their schedule is not overly daunting. They're going to get 6 pretty easy games right there in their division. So I think they'll be right in line for the 1 or 2 seed, and I think they'll be a threat to win the Super Bowl again, to win the whole thing again. But that's how I see it. So we'll talk to you next week, and looking forward to the season.